Industria 2 continues the vision of its predecessor, expanding on the series' identity as a slow-burn, atmospheric first-person shooter with strong influences from Half-Life, psychological sci-fi, and surreal survival horror. Developed by Bleak Mill, the sequel builds on the original game's mysterious parallel dimension concept, but this time aims for deeper narrative focus, improved combat systems, and a more immersive world structure. Early impressions suggest a game that succeeds most in atmosphere and tone, while still struggling in places with mechanical refinement and pacing. From the opening moments, Industria 2 immediately establishes a sense of unease. Players once again follow Nora, now trapped in a fractured reality shaped by an uncontrollable artificial intelligence. Unlike the first game, which leaned heavily on linear progression and simple objectives, the sequel introduces more layered exploration and environmental storytelling. The world feels more interconnected, with industrial ruins, decaying scientific facilities, and surreal machine-controlled landscapes blending into one another. This creates a stronger sense of place and mystery, encouraging players to slowly piece together what happened to both Nora and the world around her. One of the game's strongest aspects is its atmosphere. Review impressions consistently highlight how Industria 2 excels at building tension through sound design, lighting, and environmental detail. The world is often quiet, broken only by distant mechanical noises, distorted signals, and the unsettling movement of hostile machines. The soundtrack reinforces this feeling, combining ambient industrial tones with faint melodic elements that heighten a sense of isolation. Much like the original, the game thrives in its ability to make players feel alone in a hostile, artificial world where danger could appear at any moment. Visually, the game shows noticeable improvement over its predecessor. Environments are more detailed, lighting is more dynamic, and the surreal elements of the parallel dimension are more ambitious in scale. There are moments where the game shifts from grounded industrial realism into almost dreamlike or distorted spaces, suggesting the influence of the AI controlling this world is far deeper and more unstable than initially understood. These transitions help reinforce the story's psychological themes, especially Nora's connection to the events unfolding around her. However, while the presentation is strong, gameplay remains a mixed point. Combat in Industria 2 is more varied than before, introducing new enemy types with different behaviors and requiring more tactical movement. Some enemies rely on stealth detection, while others overwhelm the player with aggression or environmental manipulation. Ammo scarcity and resource management still play a role, forcing players to choose engagements carefully. Despite these improvements, some early impressions suggest the gunplay still lacks weight and polish, occasionally feeling stiff or underdeveloped compared to modern FPS standards. Enemy AI is another area with divided opinions. While the design of enemies is creative and fits the game's surreal tone, their behavior sometimes feels inconsistent. Certain encounters are tense and intelligent, while others rely on predictable patterns or scripted movement. This inconsistency can break immersion, especially in a game that relies heavily on tension and fear of the unknown. Exploration and pacing are more refined compared to the first game. Instead of strictly linear corridors, Industria 2 allows for more open-ended environmental navigation. Players often revisit areas or explore branching paths that reveal additional story fragments, audio logs, or hidden context about the AI-controlled world. This improves replay value and makes the world feel more alive, even if it remains fundamentally controlled and structured. Narratively, the game continues to lean into mystery and psychological sci-fi themes. Nora's connection to the AI becomes more central, with hints that her presence in this world may not be accidental. The story avoids straightforward exposition, instead relying on environmental clues and fragmented storytelling. This approach enhances immersion, but may frustrate players looking for clear answers or a more direct narrative payoff. Performance and technical polish appear improved, but not perfect. Some reports mention minor bugs, control responsiveness issues, and occasional pacing disruptions. These problems are not game-breaking, but they contribute to the feeling that Industria 2 is still a slightly rough experience around the edges. Overall, Industria 2 feels like a significant step forward in ambition for the series. It successfully expands the atmosphere, improves visual storytelling, and builds a more complex world worth exploring. At the same time, it still struggles with fully refining its combat systems and mechanical responsiveness. The result is a game that excels as an atmospheric experience and narrative mystery, but may leave action-focused players wanting more depth and precision.